Hey guys, welcome back to the Woodsman Ways. So just a quick recap first of all on what we've talked about so far in the series. First video started out as I had a bunch of requests. We talked about, preparedness for natural disasters, stuff like that. Kind of how I think about things like that. Then we moved on, continuing with the preparedness topic, and we've run through a couple of my kits, my scout kit, my long-term kit, what I prefer for clothing in the last video. So in this one, I kind of wanted to get back to the long-term kit. Not that I missed it, but what happened was it's trapping season, so all my traps are up in Maine in my big tough boxes, waiting for me to go back there and catch some fur. So I didn't get to show that part of my long-term kit. As far as trapping and stuff like that goes, in my kit what I showed you was my small trapping kit, which had 25 or 30 pitcher wire snares, as well as the metal leader snares. I think there's 20 of them or so, whatever it is, in that little kit. As far as long-term goes, yeah, that kit's probably not going to cut it. You're going to need a little bit more than that, but it will do. You can certainly catch animals in that. You haven't seen a video on that from me personally, because snares are illegal in Massachusetts. They're also illegal in Maine unless you're using them for bear, which I'm not trapping for, or beaver. And I would never set a beaver pole unless it's under the ice. A beaver pole has snares on it, obviously. So when I was up running my trap line, I was using the 330 conibears right on their runs, and I was hammering them. So that was the reason behind that. So I had some questions about different trapping stuff. How much does my pack weigh? Sarge, I see, you don't have any weapons. Do you not carry any weapons? I did a video in the past. I think it's survival and tactical, what my choices were or something like that. You guys could check that out if you haven't seen it. But I've got all that stuff with me today. Like I said, my traps were up in Maine, waiting for me to get back up there. They're still up there, so I had to borrow a couple traps just to show you guys from my store. So in my long-term kit, to complete it, what I didn't show you, a dozen 7/30 seconds, I think what they are, cable snares. Again, they're illegal in Massachusetts, they're illegal in Maine. I'm not going to release information on where I'd go to do this long-term stuff, but if I'm out in the wilderness surviving and trying to provide meat for my family, I'm not paying attention to the laws at that point. They're non-existent to me. So a dozen, I think, pretty sure they're 7/30 seconds cable snares I would set. And I'm not even a big fan of snares, to be totally honest with you. I prefer footholds and conibears myself, but these things pack up pretty well. They lay nice and flat. They don't take up much room. They're definitely going to add weight to your pack, and I will talk about that a little bit more in a second. As far as the other traps go, 330s definitely got some weight to them, but for trapping beaver, that's my preferred trap. People are different. It's just the way it is. One guy told me he'd never set a 330 for beaver. He prefers snares, and again, that's under the ice, so I haven't been able to give that a shot yet, but I will. So I would carry in my long-term kit one 330 conibear without a doubt. I'd probably leave other traps out just so I could take this one, to be honest with you. I would take 2 to 3 220s, maybe even 4. This is gonna secure bigger game for you, you know, aside of the beavers. You can set different cubby sets and stuff like that with a 330 and a 220 for that matter, for fox, bobcat, coyote, any of that type of stuff. The 220 not so much on the coyote, but you can catch a cat, a small cat in it, fox, stuff like that. Just make sure you're staking it out properly. As far as the 110s go, the only reason I would take 110s, and my choice, I'd probably take a half a dozen of these. They'll probably work for rabbits. They might be good on a squirrel pole as well, but they're primo for muskrats. And muskrats, from my understanding, are very good to eat. So, you know, maybe we'll see that in the future. I haven't got to that yet either. Kind of lucked out on the muskrat trapping when I was up there. I didn't get any. But it's just the way it is. And I haven't said that with the trapping, as you guys seen in my trapline videos, I was up there just shy of 2 weeks. I think it was 12 days to be exact. The first day I set 5 beaver traps. That's all I had out on day one. Set 5 beaver traps. The next day when I went to check them, I had doubles on beaver. So right there, I got a few days worth of food for me and my family. And it's not prime rib by any means, but it is good to the taste. I've tried it on video. It tastes good. It has fat in it. It's good for you, you know, period. By the time I was all said and done up there on my trap line, for at least a week, it took me about 4 or 5 days to get totally set up with 50 plus traps. I want to say I had about 65 traps out at one point. That's the mink and marten boxes, the 110s for the mink and the muskrats, all kinds of leg holds out, cubby sets, blind sets, scent post sets, all that stuff. For roughly 2 weeks, like I'm saying. But at a minimum, I had 65 traps set for a week or better, and all I got was the beaver. So to think that carrying this little, you know, picture snare wire and a metal leader snare kit is a waste of time is absurd to me. That's, you know, even if it's 20, I think I got 25 of the picture snare, whatever it is. I've got at least 40 snares in that kit, at least 40. So we'll say I got 40 snares. That's 40 more traps that I can set and improve my chances on catching something. If you learn anything about trapping, I'm no expert at anything, let alone trapping, but I like to share my experience with you guys, lessons learned, all that good stuff. If there's one thing that you can take away from me about trapping, is an unset trap will never ever secure you meat, and remember that. So to carry what I got here, a dozen cable snares, 1 330, 4 220s, and a half a dozen 110s, and I would probably only take 2 or 3 footholds. This is 1 3/4. I highly prefer and would recommend, if you were to carry footholds, I've got a dozen or so MBs. They're the 550 soft catch. Unbelievable trap. They're easy working. They're well made. They're top of the line traps. You know, point blank. MBs, any size, they're all well made. They're pretty expensive, but you don't have to do anything to them. A lot of all these traps you see here are Dukes. A lot of people shit on Duke traps because they're made in Korea. It says right on it, made in Korea, but they fucking catch animals, period. You know, if you have the money to buy all American stuff, hey, all the power to you. But to sit here and shit on a trap because it's not made here when it works, I mean, it's ridiculous to me. So again, Dukes, they do have the Belial or Belize, whatever the hell they're called. have a little bit better of a safety catch on them, so they're a bit safer to work with. The 330s are very dangerous. You got to be real careful with them. But it's a Duke trap. If I didn't have issues, and I'm not trying to make excuses for my catches up there, but if I didn't have issues with the water rising above my traps and having to reset them every day and the lake freezing up, I was absolutely smashing the beaver with a Korea trap. So, you know, put that in your pipe and smoke it if you want to. So again, sorry to get off track and get a little excited here, but long-term kit, easily fit these in my Woodsman pack. There's plenty of extra room in there. Again, my Woodsman top came out of there. These corner bears slide right down the back, or the front for that matter, so you keep them off your back. Fit right in there, no problem. Now let's talk about weight. A lot of questions, even over the years that I've been doing YouTube videos with my Alice pack kit that I had, you know, a few years ago or whatever. Always, hey Sarge, how much does that pack weigh? I'd never want to carry all that. I'd never want to do this. You know, it's too much weight, yada yada. If you have something right now that's going to help you later on, especially, you know, wilderness living, stuff like that, you know, the topics I'm talking about, and you leave it home, hey, friggin' good luck to you. You know, good luck to you, because you want to be lazy, you're out of shape, and all that crap. You want to go minimal and all this stuff. All the power to you, and the best of luck to you. You know, I'm never ever gonna leave unprepared. It's just not the way it's gonna go with me, anyways. Like I've said time and time again, I've humped a rucksack, you know, in different parts of the world now. And when I say hump a rucksack, I mean a rucksack at a minimum 80 pounds. Minimum. That's not even counting my full combat load, my weapon that I'm carrying, my brain bucket, the boots I'm wearing, and all that crap. Just the pack alone, a minimum of 80 pounds. 80 pounds. At times, on one particular mission I did, it was a 3-day observation, LPOP basically, observation post, listening post, you know, some secret squirrel type shit. 120 pound pack, up and down mountains. There was one mountain, a couple of us got to the top, had to drop our packs and drag one of my guys up the rest of the mountain. You could actually touch the ground in front of you as you walked up it with a 120 pound pack. Again, that's not even counting the full combat load that I had on me, plus my weapon, my helmet, all that good stuff. So something to think about. You know, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are into different stuff. You know, a lot of backpackers like to go the super lightweight. That's good for them. That's what they do. But if we're talking long-term, wilderness living, survival, stuff like that, you might want to rethink of what you're doing if you're not anticipating or thinking that you're going to have to carry some weight in your pack. I don't care who you are and how much training you got. That's just the way, the fact. That's what it is. You know, if that's too much for you, and maybe you need to take up something else like crochet or something. I don't know what to tell you. But that's my spiel on that anyways. So I wanted to show you the traps that I prefer that would go in my long-term wilderness kit for, you know, I'm never coming home. So this is what's gonna secure food for sure. Like I said, the 330, I swear by it. It's definitely dangerous, but it definitely catches food. And I caught some big beaver, and that'll definitely take care of me and my family. So that's in the pack without a doubt. All right, weapons. Again, I did a video on this, but I'm gonna go ahead put it into this series because it fits, and I got a lot of questions about it. I got a 22 Savage, 22 mag. I chose this because it'll kill anything, and I don't care what anybody tells you about that. Yeah, it's a 22. This thing will kill anything from here to Maine with proper shot placement, without a doubt in my mind. With a 22, I would not want to shoot a deer where I would shoot a deer with a 12 gauge or a 30-aught 6 or something like that. It's going to be a headshot is what it's going to be. So this thing will take down a deer without a doubt. Absolutely no doubt about it. If you shoot it in the right spot, this 22 mag will take out a bear. And if you're a big gun guru and you want to contest me and jump around, hoot and holler, and pound your chest and tell me otherwise, go bang your ankles. A 22 mag will take out big game animals, period. So I chose it for that reason. I can take out big game, I can take out small game, and it is a rifle. It offers me a long distance shot for whatever reason I may need that for. So that's why I chose that. I like the scope on it. I prefer a scope myself. However, this doesn't have the iron sight on it. But you need to have a backup to this. You'd first want to sight in your iron sights. Make sure you're good with that. Just in case something happens to your scope, you need to take it off and refer back to your iron sights. So I definitely recommend doing that. My other weapon, you guys have seen, single shot 12 gauge. Same deal. This thing will kill anything. Small game, big game, anything that lives in America, this gun will definitely take it out. 12 gauge is a good, home defense type gun and stuff like that. Not so much the single shot, but, a load of buckshot in here or whatever, or anything will do. Just shoot somebody with friggin' number 8 shot. They're gonna wish they didn't come into your house. But those two particular guns I chose also because they're very low maintenance. Very low maintenance. Not a lot of moving parts. Easy to keep clean. Easy to take apart and go through. Just not a lot that's gonna break on you, so they're gonna last a lot longer. In my other video, survival and tactical or whatever it was, I did show my sidearm. That doesn't fit here. That's personal protection, in a case like that. And we're not going to talk about it. If you want to see it, check that video out. Alright, one that gets left behind a lot. I don't know why, but in another video, I'm going to talk about the ammo that I carry for the 22 and the 12 gauge, and we'll go over that. Long term, that stuff is gonna run out at some point. You can conserve it all the hell you want to. So instead of selling you guys a fucking fantasy like a lot of people on YouTube do, and that's what I think about this whole bug out and all that crap, to be totally honest with you, is a big friggin' fantasy world, and a lot of people are living in it. A bow. Been around forever, before the Europeans got here. Native Americans were using bows that they made themselves. Endless supply of ammo. If you've got woods around, check it out, we're in the Northeast, there's plenty of woods around. Endless supply of ammo. This is my Samick Sage Takedown Recurve. A weapon of choice for me for that simple reason. It's an endless supply of ammo. As long as I know how to find a proper tree or branch or whatever to make myself an arrow shaft, I know how to nap a point, haft it to the arrow, and make fletchings, I'll never run out of ammo. In a bow, this one happens to have 65-pound limbs on it, so it's a 65-pound drawer, I mean. I don't even need that much. You could do away with probably anything from 35 and up. I just got the 65 because I'm used to shooting that. But again, endless supply of ammo. I can take it down, it can fit in a pack, and I'm good to go. So let's get back to the fantasy of it all for a second now that I brought that up. I'm probably gonna get a lot of shitty comments, but oh well. That's just how I see it, you know. A lot of people on YouTube doing the videos, it's not just the bug out, it's the survival, the whole thing. People are out there selling this big fantasy world, one, so they can sell products. Don't think for a second the survival isn't a sales market, because it is. I have a store, but I'm not trying to sell you guys shit, you know, every other video, stuff like that. I say I have a store. I have 7 videos on product reviews that were requested. I didn't even want to do them. I'm not a salesman. That's just the way it is. So, fantasy world, thinking you're gonna go out with a 3-day supply of food and all that crap. You know, I've touched on with bug out bags and stuff like that is a bunch of nonsense, I believe. Just a lot of stuff. You know, be careful on what you're buying into when people are talking. Even me, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt. The one thing that's gonna do you good, 2 things: training and rehearsals. And what I mean by rehearsals is practice. You have to do it. You can sit here and watch my videos or anybody else's all day long, and at best it'll give you some good ideas. Unless you're out here doing it, you might as well be watching the football game or something like that, because it's entertainment and fantasy at that point. So sorry for going off on a tangent there. You know, I get a little excited sometimes, especially, you know, people say some things tend to piss me off, but whatever, it is what it is. So the traps, these are my weapons. That rounds out my long-term kit, bug out kit, inch bag, I'm never coming home bag, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what it is. We ran through the whole pack. I just wanted to shoot this video separate anyway to talk about the weapons with the traps. And like I said, my traps were stuck up in Maine. So I just grabbed some from the store so I could get this video done for you guys. But that'll conclude this one. Again, on preparedness, I got one more coming up, guys. The pack's sitting over here. A lot of questions about it, a lot of emails about it, stuff like that. So I'm gonna run you through what that pack's all about, where I got it, name of it, all that good stuff in the next video. Thanks for all your views, comments, continued support, and I will see you real soon with another Woodsman Ways video.